to buying or selling your home, you want someone in your corner who has their finger on the pulse of the housing market. If you're looking to invest in real estate, you need a team that can help make sure your numbers work.
Do you have the lead-ins?
Today with Cindi and Jody and the years of experience that they bring to the table. Call or text the studio 267-1023 or message us on Facebook at Richardson Group KW. You can also reach our office at 790-7979 or online at rg423.com. Each Keller Williams office is independently owned and operated.
Hey, welcome to Real Estate Today. This is Jody and Cindi. We're happy to have you guys. You know, it's funny, today we're planning on talking about the fall market, getting ready, upgrades, maintenance, things that you need to be aware of. And we were kind of laughing on the way here. It's supposed to be 87 degrees outside. So
Yeah.
we're going to pretend that there's a little crisp fall chill.
Now, there is. I mean, my car said it was 67 outside right now. I don't know how accurate that is.
Well, and I think
felt good.
the problem for me is you can't really decide. Like, you've got to dress like an Eskimo. So
Yeah.
we were laughing this morning. You got to bundle up and then be prepared to burn up in the middle of the day.
So how often do you go out to list a house and you have a owner, that talks about how much more their home is worth because they replaced the roof and
I get a
central
lot.
heat and air?
Yeah, I get a lot. Yeah, so-and-so sold their house down the street, but mine is so much nicer. I have a brand new roof. I just replaced the HVAC unit, a brand new water heater. And as they're telling me these things, I mean, I know where you're going with this already. I almost kind of cringe because I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Those things are great. They're amazing. They're things that you
They need to be
plan
done.
on
I mean, you
doing.
absolutely have to do them.
But are they going to bring you any more money?
They're not going to bring you less money, but they are maintenance. So just like you expect a house to have a roof that's in good condition and operating.
Let me stop you right there. Let's talk about maintenance. So you're going to hear us today talk a lot about maintenance and upgrades. So the difference. And even in researching for this show, I was shocked at how often renovation and upgrade and maintenance terms are used interchangeably, and they're absolutely not the same thing.
Yeah, from some very reliable sources
Yeah.
that were using
them
incorrectly.
interchangeably. So one of the best analogies you've ever given me, we call it now, after being in business together 21 plus years, the tires on a car analogy. So to me, that's the best way to describe what maintenance means. Tell me that analogy.
Well, like I said, you expect your house to have a roof on it and be in good condition. Just like if you were buying a car, you would expect that car to have tires on it. If it doesn't, then you're not going to pay fair market value for a car without tires. Also, a house with a roof or a roof that's not in good condition, you're not going to pay maximum dollars for a house that's roof is at the end of its life expectancy.
Well, and back to the cars on a tire, or the tires on a car, I can't talk. I'm not going to pay more because a car has tires in good condition. It's an expectation. And the same thing. And again, I said, you know, when I was preparing, one of the notes that I have says, maintenance are things that you should be doing on a regular basis to ensure and maintain the integrity of your home systems. It's a necessary evil of home ownerships, and while they don't give you a dollar for dollar return on your investment, a home that has been well maintained will typically sell faster and possibly for more money, not because of that maintenance item, but because you're going to get a quick sale more than likely if a home has been well maintained versus a home that's not.
Right. Because again, if you have a house with a roof that needs to be replaced, not all buyers are going to want to take that project on within the next few years.
Okay, so now we've got that out of the way. Tell me what an upgrade. Give me that analogy for that.
A good analogy would be, let's say you have worn out carpet in your home. If you replace that carpet with carpet, that is maintenance. You can't have worn out carpet if you go to sell your home. So that is maintenance. If you replace that carpet with hardwood, then that's an upgrade.
I think, and for me, when I first got into this, the term upgrade was used very interchangeably with the term renovation, which was also used with the term maintenance. So the waters can get a little cloudy, but we're here to kind of help you work through that and tell the difference and really ultimately decide why you're doing what you're doing. So with that being said, let's go into upgrades, okay? It's important to know the difference. And really for me, when I'm dealing with a client, it's important to understand the reason and the return. So are you upgrading something to suit your lifestyle?
Yeah, because there is your ROI, which is your return on your investment for upgrading your kitchen. And if you do certain things to it, you may not get that money back, but it may have a joy factor. So if you are replacing your granite with Corian, you may not bring the difference that it takes to do that upgrade, but you have a solid surface counter. You're only going to get a certain value for having that solid surface counter.
And I think that's one of the most common. I'm glad you brought up kitchens, bathrooms. We've been told our entire lives that you get all your money back. That's the most bang for your buck. And we're going to talk about what the highest return or ROI items are. But for me, I always think about like yard upgrades. I get a lot of those. Like I put up brand new fencing, or I installed a fabulous outdoor kitchen area. Those things are great. They're going to help your house sell. You are not going to get dollar for dollar return on
Probably
investment.
one of the worst returns you get ROI is a pool. So a pool is going to cost you anywhere, depending on what type of pool you're putting in right now. Low end would probably be $50,000 for a pool, all the way up to, you can get up to $200,000 on a really fancy pool.
And how much is that appraiser going to give you?
He's probably, I'm pretty generous when I'm doing my market analysis, and I'm probably going to give you about $20,000 for that pool.
Yeah, so that's one of those things, and you're going to hear us talk about joy scores in a minute. That's one of those things that you need to do for your own joy, for your own entertainment, your own, lifestyle. And you do that and you feel good about it. Do those homes typically sell faster? Yes. Do they typically sell maybe for a little more money? Yes. Are you going to get the money that you put in to do that?
No.
Absolutely not. So when you hear us talk about return on investment versus joy score, that's what we're talking about. So we were both a little surprised, I think. Tell me some of the cost recovery. What am I going to get the most money back return for
now?
upgrades?
And we're not talking about things that we would recommend to put the home on the market. This is just things that you need to be doing to your home throughout your ownership in order to bring money back later. But the top thing that brings money back is new hardwood floors. So if you upgrade to hardwood floors, that actually brings back 118% of the cost.
And we are very much still in a market where solid flooring, whatever that may be, is preferable to carpet. We're definitely still, and I think, trends change, pendulums swing differently, but I don't see that going away anytime soon. Hardwood floors have been around forever.
Right, and I think that some type of hardwood in the main body of the areas, depending on the price range of your home, I think it's perfectly acceptable to have carpet in the bedrooms. Getting hardwood in the master bedroom, putting hardwood in the master bedroom, that would be an upgrade depending on your price range.
Staircases, that's a big one.
Yes,
that's a big.
Yes.
That's
but again, this is also the price range of the home and the competition, the things that have sold around you, that has a direct bearing on that.
So that one's not surprising. What else you got?
So on converting living space in the basement, so finishing your basement actually brings 86%. So you're not going to get 100%. So if you spend $50,000 on your basement, that's not going to bring $50,000 in value. That's going to bring closer to, I've not done the math, but that's going to bring closer to 40 to 45,000.
And that's one of those that I think is pretty dual-sided. Typically, if you go to the expense and the time to finish basement square footage, you need it. There's a reason why most people don't just decide they're going to go finish their basement. You need a bonus room, a playroom, something for a home business. You need an extra bedroom, a sleeping space. It's very important to understand that, though, when you get ready to resell, the price per square foot resale is not the same.
Right.
So
and there's
I
a very big difference in how you finish the basement.
That's exactly what I was
doing
gonna say.
a drop ceiling and maybe some painted floors or painting the block or the concrete walls in the basement is very different than doing sheetrock, flat ceilings, trim work that's equivalent to the trim work on your first level. So just know that it's very different. And again, this is when it's very important to know your market and your subdivision, because you don't want to go in and put in this basement that has all this big trim in it and upgraded everything.
That needs to be a Joy Score item. If you're going to finish your basement to the level of your main living area, it needs to be because you love it and need it and want it to be that way, because you will not get the ROI back.
Well, and this is where it's important to know your competition, or not the sales in your area, your subdivision. You also don't want to go in and do drop ceiling and everything if everybody else in that price range is making it the same level as the first level.
And I call a realtor.
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with, I love when clients call me way before, they may not sell that home for 5 to 7 years, but before you make huge financial decisions about upgrades, call us, because we can help you. You do whatever you want to do, but we can give you all the information before you move forward.
Now, one of the things, kitchen renovations brings back 75%.
Which is very different from what we're told our entire lives. I think that is we didn't dive into it, but for me, kitchen renovation is a very broad term. Okay. I think replacing
kitchen upgrade only brings 67% of the money back.
Right.
So a renovation and an upgrade are two very different things.
And there's a big difference between taking a Formica golden oak kitchen with white appliances to granite painted cabinets, stainless appliances. That's a very different upgrade from you tore out your very functional working kitchen that was very up to date, maybe not trendy, but you tore that out and made it more functional. You're not going to get that money back. It's great and it works for you, but it's important to understand, are you making conscious upgrades to get ready to sell, or are you making conscious upgrades that work for your family? And one is not better than the other. They're absolutely both reasonable and important, but you got to know going in what your end goal is.
Right.
And we'll, we're going to touch on that more towards the end of the show about ways that you can shoot yourself in the foot. But, if you're doing it to bring it up to the caliber of everything else in your neighborhood and your price range, that return on investment is very different from you don't like your kitchen island and so you decided to rework the cabinets.
So many times we hear people and they remodel their kitchen for themselves and then they end up selling a year down the road, and that's two very different things, and you have to remember that, because if you were doing that renovation with the thought of selling, you would do things very, very different than doing it for your personal taste and for your joy factor.
And I do see some crazy impressive kitchens that absolutely do not belong in the price range house that they're in, which is great for resale, but it's horrible for your return on investment because you put a $500,000 home kitchen in a $200,000 home
I
house.
sold a house a few years ago that was under $200,000 and it had a $15,000 range in it.
And not to be, but most people in that price range don't know the difference.
No,
So
absolutely.
it's got a cool stove. That's all they know. Whereas if you're in a $500,000 or higher home, people expect that range.
Right. You put an inexpensive range in that home and it's going to hurt your value.
I was going to say, we see the exact opposite. We'll get somebody that gets a builder grade range in a $100,000 kitchen in a $1 million home, and that's a huge deterrent. So again, important to have a conversation about your motivation for those renovations and upgrades. So I think it's time for us to take a quick break. Right, Jesse? Am I good? Okay. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about remodeling, upgrades, and getting the most bang for your buck. I love being back in here.
You respond to those?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, where do we need to go? You want to talk more about these? Any more of those? Where do you want to talk about Joy Score? You don't have to say he's got Jack on all of them.
Well, why don't we go into the, because this is going fast. Or this is, where's our green sheets? Give me my green sheet.
You have one. You have a whole
I
set.
do.
Oh, did I
You're right,
keep
right,
it?
right.
That was at the very end. Let's do
Yeah, but I
this
don't,
at the end.
I think we're gonna run out of time. We might do the small impact. Where are we at on here?
We haven't even started. We need to talk about maintenance. So you want to use next segment to do maintenance and then third segment to do this?
Do you think that we can, this is gonna take longer than that. Do you think we can talk about,
Let's do maintenance quick. Just a minute or two. of
but this is this stuff.
Okay, so
okay.
maintenance, the same thing. These are the common items you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Keep records.
With a few simple
And
clicks,
then,
Yeah.
VPN will
Follow my
got
lead.
it.
I think we can tie this into this.
secure your devices from malware-infected downloads and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without.
So we have two more whole segments though.
Yeah, I know, but we still have the 13 small things that you can do if you're getting ready to sell your home, upgrades that are cheap.
Okay, I didn't know we were listing 13.
No.
Annual sale covers your cravings with 50% off site-wide. That's half off tender, juicy,
And again, we don't have to follow these exactly because you and I both can sit and talk for the whole day over how to do
Okay.
upgrades and
Okay.
renovations to
So-
sell a home.
I think fourth segment needs to be this quick story about neighbor. You tell the story that Kaysa told, okay? And then, so we have 2 and 3. And 2 is the long one. This one's the long
Okay,
one.
here, let's just calm down.
No, I
I
just
can't
want
look
to
at
know.
you needing direction. Let's
No,
just,
you get mad at me because I get off on a
Let's come
tangent.
back and let's say, okay, now let's get into some maintenance. So there's things that you need to do to your home every year. These are maintenance. You need to have your central heat and air serviced. You need to, and then let's
Keep
just
records, and then let's go to ways to shoot yourself in the foot.
Yeah, well, it's not just that. Keeping record. I mean, you think about things you do with your home.
These
Keeping
are all-
records is not.
No, but you told me these are all the items, and then you point blank said the other day, make sure you make note that people need to keep records of the things that they did so that when you get ready to sell, I mean, we don't even have to say that. You
Yeah.
just told me that.
The and like one thing that this one had that I forgot about too. So when you're talking about maintenance, you want to service your heat and air twice a year, and now's a good time before it gets too cold or too hot. You want to trim your shrubs, so now's a good time going into the fall. So you want to trim back your shrubs and everything. But see, then we're going to go deep dive into this stuff. I wish we had a list to offer people that had items to do. Clean your gutters.
I mean, I think this can be a whole.
This can get very lengthy.
You could save 50% when you pick up certificates to Over Mountain as our sweet deal of the week. Go online to WGOW.com Friday morning at 9. Talk 102.3 WGOW. Cindi Jody is presented by Offers Instant. If you're looking for the easiest stress-free way to sell a home, look no further than Offers Instant. Get the best guaranteed offer on your home in 24 hours with no showings, repairs, or problems. Go to offersinstantly.com or call 205-INFO for more details.
Hi, this is Cindy, and I'm here with Jody. This is Real Estate Today, and today we were talking about the difference between maintenance and home improvements.
Upgrades.
Upgrades.
That word, yeah. So we talked a lot about upgrades, getting the most bang for your buck, return on your investment. Now let's talk a little bit about maintenance. And that's kind of the thing we said, we touched on it before. There's a lot of confusion, and a lot of people confuse maintenance for upgrades. It stinks to spend money. I mean, I absolutely get it, but regular routine maintenance is actually going to save you money in the long run. So it's something you need to budget for, something you need to plan for. But those maintenance items are going to maintain the integrity of your home systems, but they don't give you return on investment.
Right. And just simple things like your central heat and air unit. You want to have that serviced twice a year. So now's a good time to get it serviced before it gets too cold outside, because if you wait till the first freeze, then you're going to be in the rush of everybody that waited until the temperature dropped.
And you would be surprised how many times I go to a house and they've never had the HVAC service. They've never had
Right.
their air conditioning unit
Not until
service.
something goes wrong.
Yeah. Changing the filters in your returns.
Every 30 days.
Yeah, people have no idea that they're supposed
Yeah.
to do that.
And
we
they
just take
actually
that for
recommend
granted.
30 to 45 days. I found that a little surprising. So, but 30 days, and if you have several
say
animals,
pets, yeah.
you may even want to do it every 20 days if you have some animals, people with allergies, anything like that.
That's one of those things I think people take for granted, that the central heating and air just works until it doesn't. But there are
Well, it
things
does.
that you have to maintain.
But that's a very
yeah.
expensive item on your home. So that's something if you maintain.
And maintenance
then,
is cheap if you
yes.
stay on top of it.
Yes.
So
And then cleaning your gutters, that's a huge one, because if you clean your gutters, and you always want to make sure that the downspouts are cleaned and the water is directed away from your home, water damage can get extremely expensive. And if you don't clean your gutters and the water is dumping onto your foundation, it will eventually lead to a problem.
And we see a lot of wet basements and crawl spaces, and it's only because water is not directed
First
away
thing
from the
we
house.
do is look at
Yeah.
downspouts, always.
Landscaping cut back away from your home. The slope of your landscaping can be very important. And a lot of times it's not neglect, it's just people haven't touched it up since the beginning of the spring.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we talked about the spring market and getting ready for that, and just water and you know, the environment will cause that dirt to slope back towards your house.
Mm-hmm.
And something just like a little trough against your house can cause, you know, basement and foundation
I've
leakage.
seen many times too where a downspout will end close to concrete, and for years they've let it just drop right there, and it will work its way under the concrete so that you have like a tunnel underneath, and then the concrete will begin to settle, or you'll get animals in there.
That's something we see very often on inspection reports too, is to direct the water away from the home. So if you live in an older home that doesn't have gutters, huge, very important maintenance item. Directing, it's a very cost effective, easy way. You can put a little, you know, plastic
And
director.
just make
on the
it a
end of
common
that.
practice to completely walk around and evaluate your home on the
Go in your
exterior.
crawl space.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
nobody wants to do that, but
And look up at your eaves and your door frames. If you have any exposed wood where the paint has begun to get thin or wear off, or where an animal has chewed on a door frame or something, paint that, because exposed wood, unpainted wood, is going to rot. I mean, there's no way around it. It's going to rot. And if you have to cut out a door frame or the eaves or anything to replace wood rot, that's much more expensive than just painting it in the beginning.
peeling paint and rotted wood is a financing issue. So that's one of the very first things that we look for when we go out to your house. So once a year, just get in the habit of a spring and a fall checklist that you're going to follow through. One of the things that we see a lot too is chimneys.
Yeah.
So if you live in a home with a wood burning fireplace, which is very common in this area still, a lot of older homes have wood burning fireplaces. It's also a very trendy thing to do. Again, now people are going back to wood burning fireplaces. Those come with maintenance and huge fire hazard.
Yeah, if
but
you get
now
a
is
crack in your
Yeah.
chimney and you go to light a fire, then that is going to cause it to blow back into the house, and you're going to have smoke or even possible damage in the house. So just have your chimneys evaluated, you know, before the winter kicks in.
one of the most common reasons that we see for household fires are
Number one reason is the dryer vent.
dryer vents. So ductwork cleaning, dryer vents, very, very important. And again, a very quick, easy maintenance situation that you can do that works well. So something else for you to stay on top of that right now is quick and easy. If you wait till you have a problem, you have a very costly, large problem to handle. And we don't want you to have to do that, obviously. So ductworks, vents, waterproofing. Water is one of the big ones. We're about to get into cold, rainy, wet season. If you see water now, address it now. 9 times out of 10, I would say it's usually a pretty small problem that can be handled. But if you wait, it can be catastrophic.
Yeah, and just things like look under your sinks. Make sure that you don't have any leaks. So if you're like me, you have a lot of stuff under your sinks, and it's not common for you to crawl around down there and make sure. But you know, it may be a good practice once a year to pull all of that out, clean your shelf down there, and just make sure that you don't have a leaky faucet or something underneath, because again, you don't want it to become an issue. You don't want it to be so rotted that it now has come to your attention because you've never got down there and all of a sudden you've got something falling apart.
Yeah, just a good idea. And one of the places that I was looking, I kind of laughed, but it's the truth. Just a really good cleaning of your home is a good way to start, because you are going to be down under cabinets, wiping walls, looking at baseboards, parts of your home that you don't get down on all fours and inspect on a regular basis. But if you're opening windows, cleaning windows, you're going to find things like broken seals and leaky faucets and things of that sort. So that was one of the articles that I read. That was their number one recommendation, was to start with a really thorough cleaning of your home, just like you would for spring cleaning. Do the same. And on that same note, pressure wash your home, clean things off, because the winter is when things really do get rough.
Yeah.
Make your life a whole lot easier whenever the spring rolls around again.
Yeah, and go through and just like, again, back to the exterior, if you just clean your light fixtures, replace your light bulbs, flip your mulch, there's just all kinds of things that need to be done.
And again, do it now. Makes your life a whole lot easier later.
And the recommendation, I think it was maybe the National Association of Realtors, I'm not sure if it was them or which report I was reading, that said you should expect to spend 1% of your home's value in maintenance per year. So if you have a $300,000 home, you should be spending $3,000 in maintenance. If you're not, then you most likely are falling behind on something.
Something's getting, we call it deferred maintenance, things that you put off. So I think those are the big ones. Anything that we're missing there?
Well, and probably not a bad idea to look at your roof or have somebody look at your roof, because sometimes you can have flashing that begins to get exposed or pull away, especially if you have chimneys. That is probably the place that I see it the most, is where the flashing is up against a chimney in the roof, and it begins to pull away, and people don't notice until the water starts coming down on the inside of the house around the fireplace.
We just left kind of the storm season in this area, and we're about to get into, snow, if you want to call it that. We don't really have much of that here.
We'll just say cold weather.
Yeah. Ice. We get a lot of ice, and our area is kind of notorious for not being prepared for that. Our homes are not built to withstand that. It's not like we live in the northern states where that's very, very common. So I would say anytime that there's inclement weather, if we've had a storm, if we're expecting things, that is when you want to take advantage of having things checked out. If we've had a really severe storm, if we've had wind or hail or tornadoes, have someone check your roof out so that you have a good baseline to go
When
off
doing
of.
your evaluations, if you see something that you're not sure if it's quite right or not, now's a good time to call in a professional, because if you catch something early, it's not going to be as expensive. If you wait or just ignore it, then it's only going to continue to get worse. So an example would be like when I was talking about the gutters and the concrete begins to settle. If you bring somebody in very early, then they're probably going to be able to redirect that and repair the concrete, maybe even lift it a little bit. If you wait years, then your steps and things are going to begin to drop, and it's going to be a whole lot harder, if not impossible, for them to lift enough to put it back where it goes.
Well, and keep track of what you've done. Keep track of what you've done. That's going to help you if and when you ever do go to sell. A well-maintained home is a huge selling point. It also can help you when it comes time for inspections.
Yeah.
If you can say, I have regularly done X, Y, Z and stayed on top of this, that can be a huge benefit.
It's going to help you budget too. So if you are, if you have your roof inspected and they said everything's looking good now, but just know that you probably have 3 to 5 years of life expectancy left, then you know that you need to start budgeting for that. And another big one is the central heat and air unit. I mean, nobody can look at it and tell exactly how long it's going to last, but they will be able to tell you whether it's close to the end of its life or not.
Okay, we're going to take another break. You guys hang with us. We appreciate everybody that's watching on Facebook Live and listening on the radio. Hang with us. We're going to talk about some things that you can do to actually hurt yourself in this process, ways that it can go wrong, and tell you a couple stories from experience. We'll be right back on Talk Radio 102.3. This is Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody.
Barstool scores Friday on the Coca-Cola Red Zone. The Georgia Bulldogs Saturdays. The Tennessee Titans Sunday. Weekdays. All football, all fall, y'all.
It's plugged into that one.
I mean, like, take your phone out and check your live stream.
It's good. It's fine.
Is it?
Yeah, we'll just, yeah.
I'll see you there.
It's fun, free.
We're almost done, so it's fine.
Are you asking her?
Cool stuff from Chattanooga's history, like Tom Thumb Golf and Zeb Batten Stop At. Open Monday to Saturday, 9 to 6 through the end of December.
I just don't want to turn it off and screw it up.
Right.
001 Broad Street, and check online for special events.
Hi, I'm Barbara Cork. Chattanooga Region I Trust Cindi Jody. Her personalized marketing.
As long as I can keep Cindy in line, we'll be fine.
Get the best marketing for your home. Go to archie423.com and put more money in your pocket.
Be more cyber zen.
That's better.
Get NordVPN. With a few simple clicks, NordVPN will block online trackers, secure your devices from malware-infected downloads, and block access to malicious websites. With NordVPN, enjoy internet without trackers, without malicious websites, without malware-ridden files. Be more cyber zen. Take advantage of our special offer now at NordVPN.com.
Omaha Steaks semi-annual sale covers your cravings with 50% off site-wide. That's half off tender, juicy, extra-aged steaks like the Butcher's Cut Filet Mignons. Order at omahasteaks.com. Use code GARDEN at checkout and get an extra $30 off.
What if you just unplugged it?
Value on incredible Omaha Steaks.
But that doesn't make sense if it's coming from this.
Go to omahasteaks.com.
Why is that?
Use code
Picking
GARDEN
it up.
at checkout today. Minimum purchase may apply.
It doesn't matter.
I don't know, but if it's wired in wrong or something, let's use the one on your side next week.
After a big dinner, my nighttime heartburn would keep me up. I'd be taking antacid after antacid all night long. But then I tried Prilosec OTC.
Probably a good thing you were a little
Just
tired.
one pill a day blocks my frequent
Not wired.
for a full 24 hours, giving me one and done heartburn.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And keeping me up.
The epitome of professionalism and tact.
That's what I was thinking.
24 hours, zero heartburn. It's possible taking
Apparently,
tell how much
you
we have
guys
left
can
in it.
hear us. We appreciate you listening. Thank you for hanging with us. I told Cindy she can't curse this break.
Aw, bummer.
Yeah, Ruby, you can see and hear us. I told Cindy to be quiet and be on her best behavior. Maybe this will increase viewership if you can hear us. I could do a little song and dance on the break.
That should be good.
Yeah.
At least we didn't talk about running to the restroom or something.
Yeah. It gets real interesting around here. You guys missed it, you know. Thank you guys for listening. We appreciate it. Have a good crowd this morning.
And start packing.
Folks, you never know when you're going to need a plumber, so I suggest Keith Plumbing.
What is it with the...
Did you know
With our
that you do not
commercials.
have to pull a permit for a fence under 7 foot in height, but you do for over 7 foot?
I wonder who's going to come measure it.
Your neighbor.
Literally. Well, I've been pretty lucky, but I've seen some horror stories with neighbors.
Their family has been the trusted plumbing company for homes and businesses right here in Chattanooga. So if you're having some water heater issues at all, you know nobody likes a cold shower.
There you go, water heater issues. Maintenance. Maintenance.
You're supposed to drain your water heater at least
I
once a
think
year. Did you
for
know
a
that?
while, I would mess it up, but apparently at wholesale supply, if you get a water heater, you get like Braves tickets or something. So maybe
What?
you could. Brian will be at home breaking your water heater. Yeah, like they give you you get something. Josh Rogers, you on here? What do we get? You give us Braves tickets. What about if they come in and tell you they heard about you on Talk Radio 102.3? I think it's a pretty good deal.
Why is owning a home to be one of the most stressful life events you'll go through? Trust the experts at the Richardson Group to help you turn it into one of the easiest. Don't believe me? Just Google Richardson Group and see the reviews for yourself.
Welcome back to Real Estate Today. I'm Cindy and this is Jody. Today we are talking about home maintenance and upgrades. The difference and what it does to the value of your home or doesn't do to the value of your home.
And if you're not watching us on Facebook Live, you absolutely should, because apparently we've got hot mics that we can't do anything about. So we'll
Jesse?
we'll be doing a little song and dance on the next break. Jesse is going to dance.
We're totally
on the next break. So, okay, we have talked about return on investment, things that are good choices, doing things because it makes you feel good and it increases your joy in your home, your joy score, versus doing things getting ready to sell. Now, let's talk about the most common things that we see that hurt you.
Yep,
You think you're doing
the value of your home.
You think you're doing something right, and you really end up shooting yourself in the foot. So let's talk about what those are.
The first one would be over improving for the area or the neighborhood.
I see it all the time. You have lived in the home. I see it a lot of times with people that have lived in the home for a long time. Property values have gone up, and they've decided to bring it up to their current lifestyle. They don't want to sell. They're going to stay there, so they're going to make it their dream home on the inside.
Or they need something a little bit larger, so rather than sell that starter home in that starter subdivision, they just want to go in and add an addition and put maybe another owner's suite, primary suite on the back.
What is the kiss of death in a neighborhood?
To be the largest. You do not want to be the largest, fanciest home.
I don't want to be the
biggest,
nicest ever.
Because if the average sale in the neighborhood is around $300,000, you don't want to be the house in there that you feel like is worth $500,000.
And it may be worth $500,000, but it's not going to bring that in that neighborhood.
Yeah. And again, we mentioned this before, but adding improvements like pools, detached garages, things that you are adding for your joy factor are not going to bring back dollar per dollar. So make sure you know what your area can support.
They're not going to bring that back, period. You're going to double whammy yourself if you put a pool, an outdoor kitchen, a pool house, a fabulous outdoor entertaining space in a neighborhood where no one has an in-ground pool.
Right.
So you've just shot yourself in both feet in that situation. So a pool, period, not getting that ROI, but you're doing it because you love it. A pool in a neighborhood that can't support an in-ground pool, you just double whammied yourself.
Right.
So you're going to lose money. It may make that biggest, nicest house easier to sell, but it's still going to be the biggest, nicest house in the neighborhood. You're going to bring less money,
less than it would somewhere else.
Yeah.
The next one is getting too trendy. So
that's a hard one.
Oh yeah. If you're going to be trendy, stick to the traditional, the classic things on the expensive items. So a kitchen remodel is extremely expensive. So don't go in and add, like right now, it's kind of like blues and greens are extremely popular, and they are beautiful. There are some beautiful cabinets out there in those colors right now. Don't add those. Don't make all your cabinets that color.
Do it in little pieces. Maybe if you love it, I love it. I love like navy blue cabinets. I'm very into that. But maybe your kitchen island.
Right, because you can paint an island. I mean, fairly inexpensive. That's not a bad one. Or use accessories to bring that color into the room.
A lot of what I've seen, because we are kind of seeing that farmhouse aesthetic is getting less and less popular. One part of that I saw a lot of was, and a lot of that trend is very timeless. It's been around for hundreds of years. It's going to be there. Heavily patterned tile was very, very popular. If you're going to do that, do it in neutral colors. You know, blacks, whites, beiges, browns. The real almost tropical, very colorful tile that was very popular with lots of patterns. A huge, very expensive upgrade.
A funny story. So I know you're very close to someone that has a black bathroom, and we for years have laughed at that black bathroom, and the commode's black, everything's black. And right now, black bathrooms have come back. We are now seeing people put black tile and things in the bathroom. So good for him. He hung in there.
And my friends will know exactly what we're talking about. So the black bathroom with wallpaper. And it's funny because black bathrooms with wallpaper. And I literally was thinking the other day, if that wallpaper was a little funkier, it would be super on trend. I mean, but I think I always kind of go back to the way that we die laughing about harvest gold bathrooms and pink tile of halfway up walls and carpet in bathrooms. Somewhere, somebody at some point in time thought, oh, I love that. And they spent so much time and money that they never redid it.
I could see it happening right now because this Barbie core going on is so big. I could see people adding pink into their bathrooms.
And it's true. The pendulum swings. And I would say 95% of those trends come back in style. But I have said out of my own mouth, why would anybody ever put shag carpet over hardwood floors? You know, and then I think
Well, now we have people
in 30
putting up
years
real hardwood floor
and putting
covering-
vinyl
yes,
over it.
because they stuck the word luxury on the vinyl.
So do you do you.
If it makes you happy, there's
if
a
you
joy
want-
factor.
Yes, but you need to factor that in to either the pricing to sell or the cost to neutralize it when you do get ready to sell. We're not telling you don't do it. We're just telling you to do it with your eyes wide
Right,
open.
right.
Yeah.
The next thing is landscaping. So landscaping has a life expectancy.
It looks
So-
real great when they first put it in professionally.
Yes, and it's all small and it's not running over each other. But if you get to the point that your landscaping has outgrown its space, at that point it's time to start editing, removing, trimming back.
And it's important to understand your limitations on the front end. I am not going to keep anything alive, and I will not be switching out my perennial plants with the season. I need small, hardy. I can't kill it. I don't have to take care of it, and I'm not going to have to weed it or replace it. Don't get so caught up in what you like and what looks pretty on the front end that you're not able or willing to maintain it. Because like Cindi said, it's one thing when it looks great, it's another thing when it's a jungle outside. I think do we have a caller? Jesse? Hey Jeff, this is Jody and Cindi with Real Estate Today. What you got?
I just have a quick question.
Hit us.
We just closed on a house.
Congratulations.
It was, the outside of it was awful. So we put a brand new roof on it. We painted the whole outside of the house, put brand new gutters on it. Does that help the value at all?
You want the truth, or you want us to sugarcoat it a little bit?
Those are maintenance items, so it is going to help you. You probably got a good deal on the home because those items were needed. So I'm going to assume that you bought the
little bit of
home
equity.
you've got a little bit of equity in the home, that you bought it at below fair market value because it needed these items. So hopefully now that you have maintained these items, it's going to bring you up to at least fair market value. It didn't add dollar per dollar of what it cost you to put the roof on there, but now it's going to bring the value of your home where it should
Let me
be.
stop you real quick. We're having a little bit of technical difficulty with our audio. So let me tell the people that are listening. So we have Jeff on the line. He said he purchased a home, painted the outside, replaced the gutters, put a new roof on the house. Does that increase the value of his home? And like Cindi just said, and I do think, Jeff, it's important to mention you have boosted your sellability. If you go to sell that home, it's going to sell much easier than it would have if those things needed to be done, and you are going to get more value, but not necessarily the return on the investment that it took for you to do it. Now, I will say this, I was looking through my numbers when you said that. One of the things that I did find interesting when I was looking was one of the best, or one of the easiest return on your investments was painting. So, the painting is a maintenance item. It definitely increases the sellability and the joy score like we were talking about, but it does give you a little bit of return on your investment. Unfortunately, things like guttering and roof, those are the tires on your car, so to speak. But yeah, congratulations on your house. And yeah, it sounds like you're moving in the right direction.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
The next item on the list is maintenance. So
We talked about
yeah,
that.
we talked a lot about that.
Shoot yourself in the foot
Yeah.
because you don't do it. You're going to wish you did.
Okay, we've got a few more items, but I think we are going to take a break, so we will be right back. I do know what's wrong. The red cord's not going in. You don't put the adapter on there. Don't touch it. You know what's going to happen.
This plug won't work. That doesn't. That's why it's there. No, that's a.
Then you have them backward. You don't put the adapter in there.
This won't fit over there.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran.
So I don't know.
Number one brokerage firm in New York City with marketing luxury homes to the most qualified buyer. What makes the difference today in your area? The same thing. Custom marketing to the
This is the-
Sorry if I listen to continues.
Agent I trust is Cindi Richardson. Her personal
Look at it one time.
attracts more buyers and sells more homes from
Jack, the red cord. We're having trouble with the red cord.
And your mics are not hot.
It's the red cord.
Yeah.
We've
I'm
made that
slowing
mistake
down.
before. It's Jesse's fault.
Oh no, we lost Jody.
Y'all heard that. You make sure you say that on my Dateline episode.
That's funny. Take my episode.
We say that all the time. That's kind of a joke. Like, you're going to say that on my Dateline episode.
Oh, I told them that
and
at
then
dinner
sometimes
last
you look
night.
at like what people are wearing, and you're like, you knew you were going to be on Dateline, and that's what you came up with. And I don't mean like from an ugly standpoint, but like wash it.
Yeah.
I don't know, wash it.
Get rid of the pit stains.
Yeah.
At least the blood stains.
She did it.
Yeah, I'll be the one they blame because I'm so, yeah.
She did it. She wanted me crying at my funeral.
Right, yeah, I'll be so straight-laced and just not having a reaction. I'll be like, yeah, her
Something
reaction was
happens
not
to
normal.
me.
She did
Something
it.
happens to me. She ain't gonna be okay. Mark my words.
Special offer now at NordVPN.com.
Cindy just starts getting really shifty-eyed afterwards.
I did see, so while we're being morbid, I did see the other day.
Moving off camera's not
My
gonna help
uncle
you.
was actually, I was trying to see Jesse. My uncle was laughing. He had seen a video where this man, before he had a terminal illness and before he passed, he recorded a recording of himself like knocking and saying, "Why did y'all do this to me? Let me out."
That's horrible.
They played it at the cemetery. I was like, would you not? I mean, that's
I remember seeing
that's
that on
funny.
YouTube where he's like, hello?
Yeah, let me out.
Hello?
That is so bad. That's like the ultimate dad joke right there.
Yeah, literally, like, put on.
I aspire for that sort of level.
That's-
for my
that's-
funeral.
Well, you know, my dad is not well, and one of the things that he wanted when we pre-planned his funeral was everyone to eat ice cream. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna have like an ice cream social.
Can we bring Brewster's?
No, he likes Baskin Robbins. Red Benton's hooking us up.
What does it matter? He doesn't get any. Sorry.
Y'all heard that.
Cindy, he'll haunt you.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. I built the #1 brokerage firm in New York City by marketing
Saying I like Brewster's.
the most qualified buyers.
Brad Benton, I'm sorry. I support Baskin Robbins.
Custom marketing to the right buyers. In chat
Pink.
with
We got to do some Cherries Jubilee. That's his thing. Pink.
her personal
That's so
marketing plan attracts more buyers and sells more homes for more money. She can even give you an instant offer. Get the best marketing for your home. Go to RG4.
And Barbara hyping us up. Where's Jed?
Want your house sold for top
There's
dollar?
Jed.
Richardson Group,
Thank
Keller
you.
Williams, Cindy Richardson team will get it down for you. Each Keller Williams office independently owned and operated. Google Richardson Group, that's Richardson Group, and start.
I was hoping Jed'd come by with a muffin.
Yeah, for real. Jed, if you're watching,
Just the muffin.
hook your girls up. I think they should let me be a guest on the car show.
Oh, I
Imagine.
think you totally should go on and talk about
Blinker
blinker fluid. Jesse, can you set that up?
I think I should be the guest of honor. We're losing people.
102.3.
If you missed a part of this show or want to catch up on past
Which
shows,
minutes?
you can find them on Facebook and YouTube at Richardson Group, and they're also available on Spotify.
I'm just not, you know, go fast.
Call the experts of the Richardson Group at 790-7979 or online at rg423.com.
Hey guys, we're back. Sorry, we're going to talk at the same time. You are listening to Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody. If you have any questions or you missed anything, like Jack said on the intro, you can reach us at the office 423-790-7979 or get us on our website at rg423.com. We'd love to help you any way that we can.
So when we left, we were talking about things that you can do to hurt your home's value. So we are up to number 5, which is too many DIY projects.
DIY, a letter, yeah. So the problem is we all want to save money, but if it looks like you did it yourself, it will hurt you in the end. And even if all the guts of your house, for lack of a better word, are good, all the systems are good, you've had professionals maintain everything. If everything in the house looks like Bob the Builder did it, you probably...
Bob, not the builder.
Yeah, Bob the homeowner.
And know when to call in a professional. If you have electrical, plumbing, things like that, let's call in the professionals.
Where I see it a lot of times is like they fix the leak, but then they did a horrible job patching the
Patching it,
sheetrock
yeah.
because they didn't know
They
what they
knew.
were doing. So now a potential buyer is curious if that leak is really fixed, because if that's the level of finish.
Yeah. The next item would be not permitting your repairs.
That's a good one.
So if you're doing things like painting, small things, you do not have to pull a permit. But if you are doing an addition, alterations, very large repairs, you do need to pull a permit. And if you question whether you do or not, then
You probably do.
please call and find out. And you also want to work with a builder or somebody that knows what they're doing. I know I went to sell a home that they added a covered porch on, that they actually got into the setback requirements, and the builder had not pulled a permit, and it became a pretty big issue when we were selling the home. So just make sure that you are permitting.
And you cannot retroactively go back and fix those things sometimes. So you know, you don't want to have to tear something down that you spend a lot of money on, and that varies from county to county. So make sure you check where you are.
Some counties don't even require a permit. Several of them in this area. The next one is going to be smells.
And ask somebody else. Ask
Yeah,
somebody
we
that you
kind of
trust.
become nose
You get-
blind to
you
your
get
own
used-
house.
you absolutely get
But
used
some
to
of the
it.
big things that we see, smell, is smoke. If you're a smoker and you know you're going to be putting your home on the market or anything, just know that that is going to affect the value of your home if you can smell smoke.
And if you go to the trouble to get rid of it, don't smoke in your house.
Yeah.
After you do it.
And if you're smoking right at the front door or back door, you're still getting it in the house. Animals, you may be completely blind to the fact that your house has a little bit of an animal odor, so make sure and ask. And I find too that if you have animals, and even if you don't have an animal odor, but if the house gets shut up for a while and you don't leave the ceiling fans and things running, it will start to smell a little doggy.
Yeah.
Mold, wet, damp. It sometimes if your basement has an odor, it's something that you might need to address.
Well, and it throws up a red flag. Sometimes that's not a red flag. So a house that's closed up, especially if you've moved and you've left a house empty, like Cindy said, keep the utilities on, keep air flowing. So
Return on investment. Make sure that when you're doing repairs, you understand how much you are going to get back for that. And condition of your neighborhood, that's a big one. So if you see that your neighborhood, if you've got neighbors that have unkept yards, trash in the yard, things like that, you may want to get involved with your HOA so that you can take care of that. Because if you have a neighborhood that is going down, then it absolutely will affect the value of your home.
Yeah, and offer to help. You know, sometimes it's as simple as if you offer to help the neighbor next door, they're willing to clean up.
Don't cover up flaws. So if you know you have a maintenance issue, then go ahead and take care of it. Don't cover it up because it's going to continue to grow, and then you're going to have a very costly repair.
And you are required to disclose adverse facts. So if you know that there's something, you're better off to disclose it honestly than you are to cover it. Okay. I think, let's see. Tell me anything on this list. So we're talking about covering up flaws, return on investment, anything that you think we missed, anything that surprised you?
No, I think it's just things we're used to seeing. But if anybody wants a copy of this, just reach out to us and we will send you these lists.
Happy to help talk you through it. In the meantime, enjoy this warm weather, and we look forward to seeing you next week on Real Estate Today with Cindi and Jody.